Hey everyone, welcome back, and today I want to talk about a little movie that I just saw called Terminal.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Okay, what do you want? You want money? Say whatever you want.
Oh, well, that is a very poor choice of words.
This is a new movie, not the Tom Hanks Terminal movie. This is a movie starring Margot Robbie, Mike Myers, Simon Pegg, and some others, but mostly them. And this is a movie that I would describe as a student film with a big budget, because this is about the quality you would expect from a student film done with a big budget. This movie is not only incredibly pretentious, but it thinks that it's so much smarter than it is, and it thinks that it is so much cooler than it is because of stuff like this, where it lights it with tons of neon and there's smog and fog machines blasting everywhere and everything's super stylish, even though it's almost like a fake style. And what I mean by that is that the actual presentation of the movie is, again, not as good as it thinks it is. Having lights, having a blue light and having an orange light with some more light, another blue light, is not style. It's just putting two complementary colors in the same frame. And that's maybe to look nice, and for the most part the movie does have a nice look about it, but that doesn't necessarily make it a nice looking movie overall. You have to actually, put effort into your cinematography. You have to actually put effort into making the world look good. You have to actually put effort into making the world make coherent sense. And I don't think this movie does any of those things. Aside from everything else that it does wrong, one of the most glaring issues with the movie is that it's semi-incompetent, despite the presentation of style. Mostly the cinematography is just bland shot, reverse shots. Just because it has color to it doesn't make a bland shot, reverse shot any less bland. And I don't know if the movie realizes this, because the entire movie is just shot with a couple of wides, a couple of close-ups, and a lot of shot, reverse shot.
You're gonna put on the rest of your clothes, you're gonna gather your things, you're gonna give me the key, and then you're going to run for your life. You've no idea who I am, what I do, or who I work for.
Au contraire.
And while this is one small issue, a bigger issue comes in with the film's editing. The editing is, again, basically incoherent. There are some scenes, especially early on, that just cut to different angles of things that are already on screen. The first shot of the movie emphasizes how poor the editing is. It's a shot of Margot Robbie in a confessional booth, and she's got the gate thing in between her, and it's a shot of just her face in the confessional booth. But then it keeps cutting to like her eyes, and it'll keep cutting on closer to her mouth, and it just does those three shots back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it gets so tiring and visually gross to look at, because it's literally just these three shots on repeat for like 4 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, just decide on one and do that instead of doing these three things. It doesn't cut to anything else. It doesn't cut to a different character. It's just her in three different shots for an entire scene. Why? Why shoot your movie like this? Why edit it like this? It doesn't make any coherent sense. And it's stuff like this throughout the entire movie, just these little things that the movie just blatantly does wrong that bother me. I mean, the whole movie takes place in a terminal, but there's like a train there, like a subway that people can catch there. There's like apartments there. There's like a parking lot with a cafe there. It's so weird and disorienting. You never really get a good sense of the world in this place. It's just like everything is taking place in this one immediate vicinity to all of these characters. And it's like, I don't understand any of this, because Michael Myers plays a custodian guy who is going in between all of these different places as the custodian.
Why don't you piss off, old man? Mind your own business. Supervisor, night supervisor. Duties to include sweeping of concourse and platform, maintenance and attendance of all... Shut up!
And he's like he shows up at the train station and heckles Simon Pegg, and then he shows up at these lockers and heckles one of the other guys. And then he shows up at an apartment and heckles some more guys, and he shows up at the cafe, and I'm like, is all of these places in the same place? Is there no other custodians? Is he the only one? What's going on? And that was sort of my biggest question throughout the entire thing, is what's going on? Not only is the world basically incoherent, and the direction incoherent, and the editing incoherent, but the performances too are just wrong. Everyone is playing it up. Everyone is chewing scenery. Everyone is overacting. Margot Robbie, I think, is a great actor, and she is like a ham lord in this. She just plays everything up. Oh, the smoke. Oh my God.
You can take it. Say whatever you want.
Oh, that is a very poor choice of words.
And Michael Myers is too, even though it is kind of nice to see Michael Myers in something again, because I don't remember the last time I've seen him in a movie. So it was kind of nice seeing him, but he just plays it up to no end.
Do I not strike you more as the sort of highly motivated, highly vicious individual that would not kill said night supervisor and stuff him in the locker?
Acceptable forms of payment at the terminal are as follows. Cash, banker's drafts, certified checks up to the value of the return journey.
Like, he's playing a caricature of a caricature in this movie. And it's just like, he is so hammy that it's hard to watch him. You're just like, tone it down. Just tone it way down. And you too, Margot Robbie, just tone it down. You don't need to be this hammy and overactive. The only person in this movie that plays things mildly straight is Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg is the best part of this movie because he just does his job. He is good in the movie, and he's not trying hard, and he's not trying not enough. He's the perfect balance in the middle where he legitimately seems like he wants to be there. He legitimately is giving a good performance, but he doesn't playing it up like everyone else is. So Simon Pegg is probably the only redeemable factor of this movie. And in the end, you sort of understand why he is sort of introverted in his performance, because it makes sense. So he's the only one that I liked in this whole movie, and his character is sort of meaningless to this story. So that leads me into the story, which is by far the worst part of this movie. The story in this movie is utter nonsense. From the start, we get those shots that I talked about with the three eyes, mouth wide of Margot Robbie, and she's talking to some mysterious figure off camera. And she's saying, I want to do business with you, I can help you. And he's saying, I don't know. And she says, what if I take out the competition, I believe is what she says, paraphrase. I'll take out the competition, and then I'll have earned your loyalty, right? And he says, yeah, why not? And so she goes to take out the competition, allegedly. And then right from there, I believe it cuts to two random guys in an apartment building. You're like, wait, who are these guys? Are these guys the people she's trying to pull a fast one on? And then they talk, and then it cuts to Simon Pegg and Mike Myers, and you're like, okay, wait, who are these guys now? Are these guys the guys that she's trying to do something with? And then she's just at a diner where Simon Pegg shows up to, and you're like, wait, I thought she was dealing with some drug lord or something. Why does she work at a diner? And then they start talking, and then it cuts in between these stories, these three stories, nonstop. It's like, okay, there's a Margot Robbie story, and sometimes she's off with another person, and there's a Simon Pegg story where she is talking to Simon Pegg, and then there's a Michael Myers-esque story where he's kind of just in and out of the different stories, and you're following all these people, and you don't know why for the whole movie. Even at the end, when it reveals what the big twist is, it's still like, wait, what? It doesn't make sense. And I guess the only way to really describe it is to spoil it. So basically, Michael Myers is the bad guy in the movie. He's the guy that Margot Robbie is doing business with. And she knew that from the start, for some reason. She knew who he was, but she tried to pull a fast one on him. And then the two guys in the apartment are two random guys that do nothing, and they get a package from Michael Myers' character.
Briefcase in a locker. That is a job from Mr. Franklin. This is massive.
Franklin, or they think they do, and they're like, oh, this is a big deal. We finally got a job from the biggest guy on campus, so this is gonna be great for our careers. And I'm like, wait, but aren't they the competition? No, okay, and then they die, and then Simon Pegg is like a rapist teacher, and you're like, What? Where does he come in? Is he the competition too? And it turns out that she just wants revenge on him because Margot Robbie was one of the people or the girls that he raped. And I'm like, why is this in the movie? What's the point of this? And then you find out that Michael Myers burned their house down when they were kids and their mom died in it. But Michael Myers also got freaky with their mom and she popped out 2 kids, 2 identical twins, who end up being Margot Robbie in the most predictable plot twist of all time. And so, in the end, they kill everyone that doesn't matter, and then they lobotomize Michael Myers for killing their mom, and they're reading Alice in Wonderland, like the movie's smart or something. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's 90 minutes of just nonsense. I don't get anything that happened in this movie, and I'm really trying to figure it out. But it is legitimate nonsense. Not only that, but all the characters in this movie are terribly written and poorly realized. They just are people that do nothing. The whole movie, like one of the guys in the apartment, I think his name is Vincent, is just a guy that hates everything. And then his partner is some handsome guy that has no brain, and Margot Robbie is a seductive, smart lady, and Michael Myers is Michael Myers. And that's it. The characters are nothing in this movie. They're just flat people to make the plot go forward. Simon Pegg, again, is the only legitimately interesting character because you learn over time that he has a terminal illness that they don't know, and he's just gonna die. And they don't know what it is, they don't know when he's gonna die, he's just gonna die. So he's really solemn and sad all the time because he's just gonna die and he doesn't know when. And then you find out that he was the guy that raped the kids and they just want vengeance on him. And he is kind of interesting because of this. He has some kind of backstory, he has some interesting development with him, and he is legitimately relatable in a way, not in the rape way, of course, that's terrible, but he is interesting because he wants to die, but he doesn't want to die. And the movie kind of plays with the idea that he just wants to die, but at the same time, he's scared of dying because he knows where he's gonna go. And that's interesting to me, but again, he's the only good part of this movie. He's the only character, the only performer in this movie that works at all, and he doesn't even come into play in the story at all. He's not the competition to Michael Myers, and he doesn't have any effect on the story. He just is a person that Margot Robbie talks to and then gets revenge on, and then that's it. That's all that happens. That's all that comes of his story. So it's pointless.
Come back again soon, handsome. Don't bring him.
I feel like I'm not doing this movie justice on how terrible it is, but I just don't have words for it. It's so embarrassing for everyone involved. The direction is so amateurish. The cinematography is like film student, like look at me, I'm cool. The world building is non-existent and completely confusing. The characters are flat and poorly written, and the story is completely incoherent. I have no clue what happened in the movie. It's 90 minutes long, and somehow it feels twice the length, and it feels like it's chock full of filler scenes. It feels like the movie was built around the twist at the end, even though there's like 6 different ones, and all of them relate to different people in different ways. So everything that the movie does leading up to the twists at the end is just to service the twists at the end. So people will say a line of dialogue, or people will do a certain action that directly links to the ending. But in the moment when they say those things, it just doesn't make any sense. Like Vincent, it keeps commenting on Margot Robbie and how she's looking different, which is a very clear clue to the fact that she has a twin, where he's like, you have blue eyes, and then the next scene he's like, I thought they were green. And he's like, oh, wait, your hair is different, and stuff like that. And it's just like, okay, I get it. I get that you're cluing me into that there's a twist coming, but why would he pay that much attention to her? He doesn't care about anything. His character is literally like, I don't care about anything. I want to get this job done. I want to be done with everything. I don't care. So why would he be the one paying attention to that? Why wouldn't the guy that is being seduced by her pay attention to that, the airhead guy? So it's like little things like this that just don't make any sense, because it's all to just service a stupid twist that doesn't make any sense. So this movie sucks. Don't see it. It's awful. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how many times I can say that, but at the end of the day, it's the only way to describe it. It's just nonsense. So anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.